Roman Reigns is going to be out of action and not on WWE television for the foreseeable future, which isn't that very long now, considering we're at the halfway point between WrestleMania, where we last saw him, and SummerSlam, the next big major WWE event. The occurrence when the Bloodline and the big structural changes within the faction he's left behind have left a lot of people questioning what is next for the tribal chief. Roman Reigns is no longer the top dog, no longer the big dog. A lot of questionable actions are being taken within the Bloodline during his absence. What's going to happen with Roman Reigns when he returns? Let's get into what some of us think we want to see. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. Let us know what you want Roman Reigns to do when he returns in the comments below. Apart from Solo Sikoa recruiting 2 new members in Tama, Tonga and Tonga without the tribal chief's consent. Why would he have consent? He's out of action. Paul Heyman has also withdrawn Roman Reigns from the WWE draft while first lying that Roman Reigns himself voluntarily withdrew.
I pulled Roman Reigns out of the WWE.
The fact that all eyes are on Roman in his absence, the expectation for this big return shows the aura he has created in the last few years with the Bloodline and, of course, that world title reign that came to an end at WrestleMania 40. He has an aura that nobody else really has recently in pro wrestling. So a lot of people want him to do something huge, and without him, there has to be chaos within the Bloodline, right? Paul Heyman, the wise man and the mastermind of the Bloodline, tried to reach out to Solo Sikoa to try and understand why he was recruiting thugs and criminals like Tama and Tanga. Heyman told Solo that back when Roman Reigns was around, violence was selective and used as a tool for the collective group to gain ahead. It wasn't just violence for the sake of violence. Solo, for his part, seems to be getting a bit power drunk. A bit? Yeah, he's really drunk on this power. And every addition he makes to the group, every non-addition and every move he makes, you'll see what we mean later, everything he's doing seems to have been timed and planned around what people expect will be the return of the real tribal chief, Roman Reigns. For several years, we've seen fans beg and plead for WWE to pull the trigger and make Roman Reigns turn to the dark side. And in 3.5 years, Roman Reigns showed as a Darth Vader villain at the top of WWE that his true potential was there by fully establishing him as one of the all-time great villains in WWE history. It was really easy to hate on Roman Reigns. Now that we've seen what his potential as a villain looks like, there's only one thing left for him to do, to show us his potential he can have as a full-fledged hero once more, maybe one that fans will organically get behind this time. Sure, we have seen him as a good guy between 2014 and 2019, but does that really count when more than half of the arena used to boo him every single week? Thankfully for Roman Reigns, the turn into being a good guy isn't going to take any effort at all because fans effectively have made him a good guy weekly with the "We Want Roman" chants. As a logical step, he has to return and make it clear he wasn't the one approving of the new Bloodline maneuvering, lineup additions, and all of the weird stuff that Solo is up to. Roman Reigns coming back will be a big deal for WWE television and obviously fans watching week to week, and it has to be done once again to shake up the intertwined path of the Samoan wrestling dynasty. But before he can once again become acknowledged as a good guy, there's a clear dynamic where Tama Tonga and Tonga are the ones that could be on the fence about acknowledging him, choosing to gravitate more towards Solo than Roman. The crack should form early, all while Roman takes another logical step to target the undisputed WWE Universal Championship that he lost and Cody Rhodes. It sets up an easy-to-promote marquee main event at SummerSlam 2024 in Cleveland, possibly with Cody and Roman battling for the top prize in pro wrestling. Roman Reigns has to insist to his Bloodline members that he wants zero interference. This won't be like WrestleMania 40 where a parade of other superstars who aren't in the match get involved. And this is where Cody Rhodes has to beat Roman Reigns clean as a whistle. Solo, not with 10,000 people running down to the ring, though that was pretty cool at WrestleMania. This has to be man versus man for the title. The devastating loss, the humbling moment for Roman once again, losing the championship before, now failing to retain it, would send him spiraling, at least in the lead role in the eyes of Solo Sikoa and maybe some of the members of the Bloodline, having little to no respect for the man they once thought as their tribal chief. Now, this can't play out right away, but over the course of weeks, a little over a month or so, where an increasingly arrogant Solo Sikoa decides that it's time for him to take his rightful place as the head of the table. And this is where the official turn happens. This is where the betrayal is revealed. It can go one of two ways. Either Solo recruits Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf who is signed to WWE reportedly to be the Bloodline's new assassin, and he takes out Roman Reigns in a way that no one expects. A magnificent debut that puts him in the eyes of WWE fans who've only heard his name, but now get to see his power as he destroys one of the biggest names in the business. Or the simple route they have to go is the trio of Solo, Tama, and Tanga take out Roman Reigns. But the cavalry comes to save the day for Roman, and the Usos return, reuniting Jimmy and Jay, brothers once more, at their cousin Roman Reigns' side. The battle lines would be clearly drawn. We know that WWE fans are probably itching for Jacob Fatu to finally make his impact, but there's a reason why he hasn't debuted just yet. He is expected to make the biggest impact possible for the Bloodline, and if we see Roman Reigns getting kicked out of the group before he debuts, then it could lead to another possible major angle. It could be one where Jacob Fatu has two sides of his cousins, the more experienced Roman and the Usos, and the less experienced but still disruptive Solo wing of the Bloodline bidding to recruit him. If The Rock doesn't return to the Bloodline Civil War match at Survivor Series War Games, double cages, it makes sense, then it would make a lot of sense for Jacob Fatu to align with the new wing of the Bloodline under Solo and not Roman's. For a fourth member, it would make sense for Roman Reigns and the Usos to bring someone back to the fold that they turned on, that they really need now. Someone who has a wholesome spot in the hearts of WWE fans. Sami Zayn. That's right, the honorary Us would ride with them once again as good guys now. Whoever Jacob Fatu is teaming with, it needs to be one that wins. Imagine a War Games match, that double cage scenario where Roman Reigns, of all people, is the one who gets pinned. Now, wouldn't that be crazy? Another humbling loss. Ultimately, Roman Reigns getting kicked out of the Bloodline needs to serve one major goal. This should be a full circle moment. The story that put him on the map as a villain needs to be the one that finally leads to him being in the good graces as a hero in the eyes of many fans. The only shame is he won't be there all the time to fully capitalize on his star power on WWE television. Yeah, he's still in that part-time featured superstar role, but that's okay because WWE has a new week-to-week face in Cody Rhodes. But in terms of Roman and Cody, their trilogy match looks like it's just going to be a footnote in a much bigger story of Roman Reigns becoming the hero that maybe he's always wanted to be in the eyes of some fans. I'm Kevin Kellum. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling.